How I've been making about 100k a day. Hi there, I'm Golden Routes, and today we'll be taking a look at how I've been making roughly 100k a day. Now, I'm going to disclose that a lot of this gold that I do make, I spend it in materials. So in reality, I'm making probably, I don't know, 20k, 30k, maybe up to 50k a day, which is still pretty good. Especially with the new auction house system that nobody seems to be happy about but me. I really enjoy this new system, mostly because if things didn't sell for me before, they sell now. And I love that because that means anything for me is money. You know, as opposed to just a few certain things that may have sold for me back before this region change and all of that, you know. So, to get things started, shuffles. You know, you're going to want to do shuffles. They're so lucrative right now, it's not even funny. The reason why that they're so lucrative is because there's cheap materials on the auction house, you know, and like super cheap. So some of the shuffles I have been doing, which I will go over this a bit more in another video once I collect more data, and figure out which ones are really lucrative and which ones aren't necessarily worth doing, but you can still do if, you know, anything else, you know what I mean? So, the main shuffles I have been doing consist of my main shuffle character, which is my Death Knight. He has inscription and jewel crafting. These two professions have been very profitable for me over the last year, or ever since Shadowlands has actually been around even. I had alchemy and I actually switched out for jewel crafting because I saw more profit in jewel crafting than I did alchemy. Even though that may not necessarily be the case anymore, I'm not 100% sure. It's just more testing I'm going to have to do. But in the long run, they're the two professions I've been using to do a lot of shuffles with. Now you're probably wondering, well, what materials have you been focusing on to make this kind of gold? So we can see here I got 248k, almost 249k in the auction house. Honestly, a lot of it has been Shadowlands materials still. Not for the jewel crafting side of things, but for the inscription side of things, I should say, have been very lucrative because Death Blossom is dirt cheap, First Flower is dirt cheap, and Nightshade is a little expensive right now. That's just because I bought a bunch of it for like 3 gold a unit, and I put all of my pigments on the auction house, as we can see here, and I spent about a total of 50k, I think it was, and in total I can make about 80k. You know, it's not a big profit by all means, but they are materials that sell, and they sell very quickly. I could turn them into inks if I really wanted to, but time is money is a true thing, and if I spent more time on the shuffle, I'd be losing out on more money. So, to each their own. If you want to spend more time on making these into inks, go for it. I'm not saying that it's a bad idea or anything like that. It's just, for me, and in my opinion, it's more efficient to just throw them up as pigments if the pigments are going to sell. Now, the reason why pigments sell is because they're cheap. You know, they're cheaper than the original, or the ink, I should say. So, that's why pigments sell, especially right now, because they're cheaper than the ink, and people want cheap. They don't want expensive. So there's people out there who are willing to spend the time to turn these into inks, where I am not going to spend the time to turn them into inks. So I guess basically just focus on your Shadowlands herbs. I do have more herbs and stuff I've been focusing on, but again, we're going to go over a more detailed video about that here, hopefully in the next week or two. Kind of waiting for things to die down, level out, and just do some more testing on these before I'm like, yeah, go do these, you know? They may not be worth it in the next week or two. So there's that. The jewel crafting side of things, again, a lot of it has been Shadowlands materials. Some kind of has been Legion materials, but it's not really worth it. There's only one gem that sells, and the only thing that would make it worth it is if you bought Fell Slate ore, which it's kind of worth it. It just depends on who you are and if you want to spend the time trying to get a couple of the painted mononite. So that's completely up to you. Another shovel I've been looking at is your decks. A lot of people don't know about this shuffle, so I'll have to go over a separate video for this, but your decks are very well used still, I'd say. You know, they don't sell for necessarily a whole lot, and you do kind of have to wait for like 1 week out of the entire month before they'll even actually sell, which that is during the Darkmoon Fair, which unfortunately isn't right now. I don't know why I have some up. I did sell a mage deck though for like 5k. They're cheaper now for some reason, but that's okay because I've got enough to make like 27 more, it looks like. Yeah, 27 more. So just look at cards, guys, you know. Find cheap cards, make them, sell them. I've got a if I can find it, Portals deck going for 10k when they originally go for about 20k, but I'm selling it cheap because I bought it for cheap. I bought the materials for cheap, I should say. But yeah, other shuffles you can look out for are things for leatherworking, any profession actually. Just look for any shuffles for any profession. If you want a full detailed guide on what a shuffle is, let me know and I will try my best to make it as detailed as possible. But for now, this is going to be the end of this video, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.